Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Olin Odekoven. I am President and CEO at Peregrine Global Services. And joining me today is Michael Napolitano. Michael is our Director of Programming and Development here at Peregrine Global Services. And today we want to talk a little bit about data analysis and trends that we're seeing in program level assessment. As you know, Peregrine offers a number of assessment solutions designed to help schools understand their academic programs and help satisfy some of these important accreditation requirements. Peregrine offers solutions related to business program assessment, accounting and finance, criminal justice, healthcare administration, general education, public administration, early childhood education, and global business education, which is very similar to business assessment, only it's used throughout the world outside of the United States to help assess and understand the nuances, dynamics, and most importantly, the knowledge levels of students as they start a program and as they leave the program. Well, let's get into this assessment process. Michael, I know we have a number of measures that you've designed and built into our system to help ensure that the online process is at the highest level of integrity. The assessments we offer, of course, are delivered online. And the question always comes up, well, how do we know that the right students are doing and not looking up the answers? So tell us a little bit about some of the measures that you've put into place to help ensure that the integrity of the online assessment process works.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, what we do is just track student engagement. We make sure that the student is actively engaged in the exam window. They are not clicking out and looking for external resources. We track their mouse movements to indicate that they're actively, cursoring through questions, answering questions, etc. In addition to that, we also track their geographical location, IP addresses, user agents. We've had cases where an individual student might be starting their exam in Florida, but then an hour later they're in Israel. So there's different metrics that we have that we are able to flag certain items for review based on institutional requirements and needs.
Because the exam, some schools proctor it, but most schools don't proctor it. They submit the exam as a homework assignment, and certainly one of the questions is, how do we know that the process worked? So the steps we've taken to help ensure that, helps ensure that integrity is maintained throughout the assessment process. Well, once these students have completed the exam, we're storing that data for them, and then they access the information through a variety of reports, of course. But what are some of the things we do to help ensure that the data, the assessment data that we collect, is secure?
Yeah, well, as an organization, we operate under the principle of least privilege. So only authorized users allow or have access to that production data. In addition to that, we've also adopted some standards based on SOC 2 compliance, and we have a variety of internal controls that we use to ensure our clients' data is secure, the confidentiality is maintained.
So these measures help ensure that the school's data is secure, because I know we have to comply with a number of, here in the U.S., FERPA, and then outside the U.S., different agencies that require data security principles. So the students taking the assessment, there's process to ensure the integrity there. We have a number of measures in place to help ensure that the data are secure. Well, the next question that often comes up concerns test bank validity and reliability. Now, I know in the white papers, what you wrote there goes into great lengths about this, but give us kind of a high-level look at how we provide test bank validity and reliability.
Sure. Well, with our test bank, we have thousands of questions, and each learner exam is unique. We serve all these questions randomly. So traditional methods to measure reliability, we're not able to use those in this particular case.
Because it's not a fixed test.
It's not a fixed test.
Right.
So we've come up with our own methodology with the help of some external experts, and have basically three methods of criteria, question interchangeability, discrimination, and item difficulty. And all of our questions must pass all those tests in order to remain and be deemed reliable, which we can go into more detail.
Which is in more detail, quite honestly, in our publication that the peer-reviewed publication, the Transnational Journal of Business, that was published in just a couple of years ago, that described this process because it was unique because it's a random test bank. So if you want more information on test bank validity and reliability, you can look at the article in the Transnational Journal of Business, which is also reprinted on our website, as well as in the white papers themselves, where we talk about this in great detail. And finally here, and this was the exciting part you and I worked on over the last 6-8 months now, is looking at some of the trends. Because we have upwards of 500 schools using our assessment services and have tens of thousands, I think we're over a million and a half now, of completed exams. And so over the last few months, we've been looking at this mega data to see what, if any, trends exist. When you look at it in totality, not just school by school by school, but when you aggregate it together. And so what were some of the interesting trends that we saw here as we did this kind of analysis?
I think what we're finding is that assessment, our direct assessment results work. And academic decision makers are noticing these opportunities within their programs and are making adjustments based on the data that we are providing them with to help increase and better their academic program for the learners.
You know, I remember when I first started out as a young biologist working for the Wyoming Game and Fish Department many years ago, my supervisor was just ruthless on this concept to us biologists, saying that, you know, you had to have data. In fact, his most common expression was data please. And he usually followed up with, unless you have data, you're just another person with an opinion. And so he was just death on it. This is still in me as a young biologist. And we carry that forward today, that truly believe that here at Peregrine, that for academic decision makers to make good quality decisions must have good data. But this is really interesting, that what we've seen and that what you just said a few moments ago, I think really resonates with me, is that schools who use the assessment data, make those adjustments in any gaps that they see in their curriculum, tend then to see in subsequent years with student results improvements. Just like this graph indicates, that over time, in this 6-year period, schools, and this is pooled results from hundreds of schools, we see a positive trend. And that's exciting. That means assessment works. It's a requirement for most programmatic assessment agencies to assess, but it's good to see that it actually works to make a difference and improve the quality of higher education. Well, to learn more, you can contact us at info@peregrineglobal.com. Read one of our white papers. You can download it from our website. Read the articles that we published about validity and reliability, and so that you can make an informed decision about assessment and how to use these assessments to improve the quality of higher education. Thank you.